The Right Stuff is a 1983 science drama film, I guess you could say. The reason I'm not calling it a science fiction film is because this is not fiction. This movie is based on a real thing about a bunch of pilots that were pushing the limits with things, and they get recruited to become astronauts. This movie is based on real books, and so yeah, that's why I don't want to say that The Right Stuff is science fiction. This is mostly a drama film. Okay, this is a drama film with about scientific nature. Whenever there actually is a really high energy, really well filmed sort of thing, they don't last very long. It's just a couple minutes, and then goes back to the humane stuff, goes back to the humane story, and that's totally fine. The movie starts off with Chuck Yeager, who's played in the movie by Sam Shepard, and he's one of the best test pilots in the world, really. But because him and his friends and his coworkers are always trying to up the ante, always trying to up the speed, always trying to break the sound barrier, because dangerous things are always kept at bay, there's always a strong possibility of Yeager himself dying. But he's the best, and anytime anything really, really good ends up happening, they can't tell it to the press because, things have to be kept under wraps and stuff. So when the Russians try to do some really good outer space stuff, people in Washington, D.C. hear about it, and they decide to recruit some of the best pilots around to pretty much up the ante with everything, like kind of defeat the Russians, I guess you would say. So there's so some of the best pilots get chosen. Only a select few will end up making it past some of the rounds because, astronauts, you really have to make sure that they're in the best shape, that they're going to endure a lot. So there's 7 men that end up getting chosen, and they wind up encountering all this publicity, and there's all these different testings that end up happening, all these different setbacks, all in a bid to really push the envelope, kind of make their country proud, but also really make themselves proud because astronauts, space, it's 1950s, it's 1960s. Why not have a good time and do all that kind of stuff? But most of their wives, on the other hand, although they love their husbands, being an astronaut, and you see some of the failures that can happen with spaceships, a lot of them are terrified that the worst is going to happen. Like maybe there's such a malfunction with the spaceship that the ship ends up blowing up and their husbands get completely incinerated. That's what they're really terrified about. And, but so it's understandable. When the movie is progressing and we get to know all about these different guys, like, even though there's 7 different guys as part of this, as part of these missions, the movie zeroes in on just a couple of them. Like there's Dennis Quaid, Fred Ward, Scott Glenn, Ed Harris, and their wives. Yeah, I thought that if the movie would have taken a dive in, focused on all 7 of them, then that would have been a little too much. So I'm glad that they focused on just a select few. And yeah, every time that they're successfully able to do something really, really big, we get a point of view, perspectives, and really, really great filming things that can happen. And yes, there's lots of danger, but every time they end up battling through and they end up surviving, it's like, wow, that's awesome. We feel so relieved, so much pride for all these guys. and it's just amazing. Yeah, the movie kind of does derail away from Chuck Yeager's thing, but that's fine, whatever. Because like the astronaut stuff is so impressive, we forgive the movie for derailing away from the Chuck Yeager stuff. It's just that when they recruit the guys, they wanted college graduates, and yeah, Chuck Yeager wasn't, so that's the only reason he didn't get chosen. And also in the film, there's some romance, there's some comedy, and all these guys are very, very well written. Yeah, the only real complaint that I have with the film is that the movie is well over 3 hours long, and I think maybe 10 or 15 minutes could have been shaved from it. I don't want there to have been like eliminated scenes altogether, but to just trim the length of some of the scenes, that would have been fine. So even though the movie does run out of steam near the end, it's really not a big deal. So I do feel like giving The Right Stuff from 1983 4 stars out of 4. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again next time.